All right, and welcome. My name is Josh Rich, and I am your host for the Champions Corner. Today, we are honored and excited to have with us Tanya Wallace and Candace Moore. Ladies, how are you?
Great, Josh. How are you?
I'm doing good, and excited to have the opportunity to speak with you. Candace, how you doing?
Josh, I'm doing great. And right now it's a Texas Tech basketball game, and I'm taking time away from it just to do this interview because it is such an honor to really speak with you. And I love being in your group. I always learn something new from it. So thank you for this opportunity.
You see this big smile on my face. I know how much Texas Tech means to you, so
I know.
I appreciate it. So thank you. That's
Yes,
awesome. That's good. That's good. So now, see, you're gonna make me ask this question. So,
yes.
is Texas Tech going to make the tournament this year? Is the question?
Okay, so I think the better question is: are we going to go to the Final Four, Josh?
Oh, okay. See, I can't say that for my Maryland Terrapins. We're going to be in the tournament, but then the question is, how far are we going to go? So I'm just going to ride the wave and see. So we'll see.
The Big 12 is super hard in basketball, and so yeah, it's fun to watch.
Okay. All right. Well, it sounds like we don't want to be in the same bracket as Texas Tech.
Well, maybe we do if we're going to beat you. It's what it sounds like to me, Josh. So I think let's go in this bracket.
You know what? I want to actually take this off of Maryland. How we're trying to get in the tournament, and not I guess dealing with a Final Four team. But I'll tell you,
right.
I think in football they say any given Sunday. So I think that's why they play the games. I'll just say that. So I'm rooting for Maryland anyway. So it's all good. But with that being said, and thank you for talking about Texas Tech, and I see you got your Texas Tech red on and so forth, and they're the Red Raiders, right?
Yes, we sure are the Red Raiders.
All right. See, I know a little something. But with that, we're in the month of March. And so because we're in the month of March, this is Women's History Month. So what I wanted to ask both of you is, what does Women's History Month mean to you? And that's for either of you, to really be able to respond and just kind of talk a little bit about that. What would you say?
Well, Josh, I'll take that one. For Women's History Month, this is so exciting, especially right now for what Candace and I are doing. There was a time whenever a woman said that she wanted to do something and we weren't taken seriously. And those opportunities were not out there. I am so excited because our world has changed. And right now, a woman can do anything she wants to do, just like a man can. So we're just feeling like we're getting a little more level ground. And we're just excited that a woman can be a CEO. A woman can start a company. We can set high income goals and we can reach them. And we can set goals to go out and help and make an impact in our community and our world. And we can do that. And we don't have the barriers. So Women's History Month shows how far we really have come. And I get excited about it. When I saw that on my calendar, I was like, yes, we're part of this. We're part of making history. And I'm excited of the time that we live in, that those opportunities are out there for us. I know that my mother had to fight she actually had her own business. In fact, she started a couple of them. And she was for the longest time support behind my father. But when she's able to step out there on her own, it wasn't something that was a norm during that day. And so whenever we do things, my mother's my biggest champion. She calls me up and she says, I'm so excited you're doing this, because she knows what it feels like to be out there. And the fact that we have doors opening up for us and laws put in place that make that happen. And not only that, but we believe that people are a lot more accepting of it, and they're waiting back to see what women are going to do.
Yeah. So as I'm listening to you, I could feel the excitement that you have, and really, giving that example about your mother and her story, and being able to see a generational shift that is now happening as a result of the laws and the different opportunities that are available. And I think that it's important that we look at things from a historical standpoint so that we know how things have happened in the past, right? but we can see the opportunity for us to make a change, not just in the future, but just as importantly right now. So that's wonderful. That's wonderful. Thank you, for sharing that. Candace, you look like you're ready to jump in. What would you say about Women's History Month?
Well, and I agree with what Tanya has said. My mom also had her own businesses. I'm from a small town, and my parents had a cotton gin, and my grandmother did too. And, they're the ones running it, but it's always your dad is the one who is the owner. And my mom and dad also bought and sold cotton, and they had a cotton business. And there again, it was my mom and dad doing it together, and my mom was probably the lead on it. And then they've also had another business. And so I'm from a history too of women entrepreneurs. And then I've also worked full time as an employee. And so I'm excited for the opportunity for women. And then also, I was talking to a mom today, and she was telling me about her story of what she's done working as a mom and working with her child with a disability and all the sacrifices that she's made. So I think it's important to also note that you can work and you can have a successful career, and then your personal life can look like whatever you want it to look like. I know it's different for every person. So I think that those opportunities are there today where in the past they might not have been there.
So here's a question as I'm listening to you, and just hearing how really women being owners of business has been something that is a common thread in both of your families, in that sense. And so when we think about career, and Candace, I just heard you talk about career there. We're seeing a lot more women that are making the choice to start a business versus staying, I guess, in a traditional model of a career working for another company. What are some of the factors that are likely leading to that, in your opinion?
So for me, being able to start my own business was, for a long time, I was tied to being employed because of insurance issues. And I know everyone has their insurance is always something for people. And so I was tied to a job because of insurance. And so now insurance situations have changed for me. So I'm able to start my own business. And so possibly that's the situation for several people. And then I think also it's a belief system and an awareness that, I really can do these things. And so once we start getting in the right groups like this group, Josh, and seeing that there are other opportunities out there for us, then it changes our mind shift as well.
Got it. So just seeing those examples of what's possible and in that way. Okay.
I think there's always been this closed mindset probably of what you could do, but there's really a whole gamut of opportunities that are available. And so once you get yourself in the right network, you see that that's available to you.
Got it. Agreed. Tanya, you look like you were going to say something there. What are your thoughts?
Oh, I was just agreeing with when she said the right network, all these little ding dings went off, because that has just been such a key for us, becoming a part of the right groups and just reaching out, becoming not just sitting as on the sidelines, but taking that leap of faith, jumping in there when just like you post things on our group. We absolutely love that, because when you start seeing people answer questions, all of a sudden you go, you know what, I was thinking that exact same thought. And then when you have, I think just last week, someone posted on the group that they had a win and they were sharing what they did. And there was a piece in there that was something that was missing from something I'm putting together right now. I was grateful for that. So it's these opportunities and surrounding ourselves with the right people, getting more involved. And honestly, I would have to say that over the last year, that was probably the number one key that took me from where I was last year to where I am today.
Wow.
That one thing.
And so as I'm listening to you both, and thank you, and I'm glad to hear that the group has been a benefit for you. And when we talk about sharing the wins, right? And I think just as important as sharing the wins is the willingness to open up and talk about, well, where am I, or where are you right now, in this journey? Because if we can have that conversation, if we can share that with the network, maybe, as you just pointed out, somebody shares a gem that could just be that one thing that we were missing in terms of how we needed to proceed in taking that next step. And so I'm 100% with both of you, and how important it is to have the proper network, people that are speaking into your life, people that are holding you accountable, in some ways, right? Because we can't just say that we want these things to happen if we're not willing to do the action that it's going to take for us to achieve those goals. So I think that that's so important. And so, I got to tell you, we've had the opportunity to speak before, and I know that you all were working on a very big announcement. And so I just recently got some news from you all about this. Can you tell us what that announcement is that the two of you are working on?
Now, Josh, it always makes like husbands nervous when you hear somebody say like there's a big announcement coming. So both of our husbands are going to, when they watch this, they're going to be going, oh my goodness, what are Tanya and Candace up to?
Let me just preface by saying a business-related announcement.
A business announcement. Okay, Josh.
Right.
Okay, Josh. You can. My husband was stressed there. Okay.
Yep.
Just kidding. Okay, Tanya, you can give them the big announcement.
Are you sure? Okay, so we're so excited to announce that Candace and I, as we started out as we're both John Maxwell team coaches, and we started out as coaching partners last year, put together randomly, and it was working out great. So we decided to do another 60 days. And we suddenly realized that we were better accountability partners than we were, or just as well, we were better accountability partners than we were coaching partners. And we developed a friendship. And Candace and I started working on some projects. We were very excited to be part of the Another Seat at the Table program. We got our SHRM certification. And as of April 6th through the 8th of 2021, we are hosting our first virtual DE&I Bold Global DE&I Summit. And we're so excited. We have an amazing array of speakers.
That is awesome.
Yes, great experts. And one of them is here with us today. Thank you, Josh, for honoring us for being one of our speakers.
No problem. I'm honored to be able to participate. So thank you. I really appreciate that. And I'm so excited for both of you and what it is that you're doing. And actually, listening to you just now, I just learned something about, I guess, the origins of this connection that I didn't know before. So that's really good. And again, I think that ties right back into the importance of a network, right? And being able to network with others. And you all were put together there, and then you found that you had some synergy, and you've been able to build off of that. And now look at where things are with this project that you're working on. So I think this summit is going to be phenomenal.
Well, we're excited. Yeah. An amazing team working with us. Yeah. We have so many experts, and this is a global summit. And I have to mention that we've decided we're probably going to put up a map behind us at some point so we can start putting little text on there showing where we have people coming from. So we've connected with people from 6 different countries that we know will be in attendance. So we're trying to make, because it is not just a problem here in the United States. Diversity, equity, and inclusion. This is a worldwide problem, and we are all part of that solution. And we're hoping that we really feel that by the time this summit ends, that we're going to have tools and tips, and actually a lot of collaboration going on with the attendees, with our speakers, and even with each other, to come away with solutions that they didn't have and tools that they didn't have when they came into it.
Awesome. And that's man, that is great to hear. I mean, I'm listening to you. 6 different countries, or you're going to have speakers from 6 different countries that are going to be represented. I'm sure that there's a story behind being able to have speakers from 6 different countries that are going to be represented on this summit.
There definitely is always a story, right? Josh, you'll find that with me. There's always going to be a story. And one of the speakers that we're really excited about is a man named Charles, and he's from Kigali, Rwanda. And he has an amazing story of surviving everything that they went through from Rwanda, but more importantly, the story of forgiveness and how you can live next door to someone who could have murdered your family, and what they are doing now in Rwanda and living as one there. And so we're excited to showcase him. And then we have another lady from South Africa that we're excited for her to tell us all the things that she's been doing, and as far as diversity and inclusion goes.
And as I'm listening to you, and that is That's wow. That's powerful. With what it is that occurred in Rwanda, and also having someone else from South Africa that's going to be participating. Because what I've found is that depending upon who you're speaking to, and obviously where they're located, diversity and inclusion it takes a different form, right? Because not all of the issues are the same, but some of the methods in terms of being able to bring that inclusiveness are going to be similar, right? So the issues may be slightly different based off of what's happening in that particular society or in that culture, but the tools that can be used, I think we will see that they're transferable into different areas too. So I think that's important. Yeah. So
Yes, that's
go
one of
ahead.
the things that we're excited about showcasing is that, just showing the different, we all have different backgrounds. We were talking about backgrounds earlier, and showing that how we can all learn from each other to increase our awareness and then our ability to communicate with each other.
That's it. That's it. So let's take a step back for just a moment, because I heard of how you all came together and started working, last year, and now we're seeing the summit that we're all excited about to see coming into play. Why don't you talk to us a little bit about what your background was, I guess prior to last year, and with what it is that you're doing now. Um, Tanya, you want to start, or Candace, whomever can start with that.
I'll be happy to start. I
Okay.
have a history of being an entrepreneur from a very young age. My parents were both entrepreneurs. I just was raised believing that you don't have to be limited by your environment, which is a hard thing sometimes. I'm from a small town in Tennessee, and beautiful people, an amazing community, but the economy was not strong.
Mm.
So as I was growing up, my goal from a young teenager was I knew I wanted to move away to somewhere that there were more opportunities, not so I could get away from my home, away from my family, but I could find opportunities to be able to bring those back to those who had not left, because I knew that I just had that inside of me.
Got it.
Excuse me. And so I was, the first business I ever started, I told Candace that I have a t-shirt is the only thing I have from that. That was a very expensive t-shirt, so we probably need to frame it someday. But you have to learn life lessons. And so I was so excited that I got that over with early. And we were just blessed with doing a lot of hard work. And we started several companies that grew. And a couple of those we were able to sell off and start new companies. And this was just my background in history. And as we had new companies opening up, we actually had a different type of clientele that we're surrounding ourselves with. So it went from being some of the smaller businesses to eventually most of my contacts were corporate contacts.
Mm-hmm.
Whenever the opportunity to become a leadership coach, I'd already been in leadership. I had gone through a lot of things that some of the entrepreneurs we were working with had gone through, but I also had a sphere of influence of CEOs. And so for me, it was just a natural progression. And then when this opportunity came up last year, we decided at some point, I don't know if it was Candace or myself or just both of us every day talking, one day we were just like, we have the choice of either embracing this opportunity. We're not technical online. We don't know anything about marketing online and really about having a virtual business.
Mm-hmm.
This is an opportunity that God's put before us, and we just decided to embrace it. And if this is where He wanted us to go, that He was going to open up doors. And I just have to say, it's been an amazing ride, because every time we need something, it's like the next day a door opens up, or another person steps into our world that we didn't know, or another introduction is made. And at the end of the day, I just sit back with gratitude and just in awe of where I started, the lessons I learned along the way. Some of them were hard lessons. There was a lot of hard work that we put in to be an entrepreneur. So I'm not going to say that it was an easy thing to do, but I will say this. I'm so glad that I went through the things I did. And as we've all learned, fail and fail quickly. It was a great lesson. I'm so glad I learned it at that early phase in my life instead of later on. And that's really my background and what brought me where I'm at today.
That's, well, kudos to you. And I think that that lesson of failing and failing quickly, unfortunately, sometimes as we go through school and so forth like that, I think people, they get fearful of failing, right? Because no one wants to be considered, someone that was not successful. And so a lot of times we want to highlight the successes that we have, but if we're not really talking about what allowed us to really get the perspective for how we were able to persevere and get to that point, then it's a missed opportunity. Because I think for others that are going on an entrepreneurial journey, they have a misunderstanding of what it really takes. And so they see the glamour, but they don't know all that went into getting to that point. So they don't really have an appreciation for the fact that sometimes there's going to be a struggle. But if you push through that, you can still be successful. Okay, and that becomes a key component of who we are. So I think that's important. Thank you for highlighting that and sharing.
Thank you.
Thank
Can I
you.
add one more thing?
Absolutely.
Since we're in this great group, and one of the things that I was missing was that I didn't know about resources that are out there and are available.
Mm-hmm.
And especially we talked about Women's History Month, and we have a lot of people who are out here who are from different backgrounds. If you're missing a resource and there's something you're looking for, reach out to this group, reach out to those who you're around, and you'd be amazed at all the things. There's things that I've learned that are available to us, job opportunities, resources, everything from your taxes to just doors opening for people looking for you that you didn't even know they were out there. So no matter what it is you're up against, I think just reaching out there and just asking that question, because we all have resources that we found and we would love to share them. We just don't know exactly what you're looking for. So I would just definitely do that, and just want to say if there was anything that I have learned, and there's a lot out there that I didn't know about, and we'd love to share it.
Thank you. Thank you. And that's the type of openness that we need, the collaboration. It really helps everyone, right? When we're asking those questions, and I just like seeing the conversations that are happening, and people having a quote unquote aha moment, right? Because they're seeing different things that they just didn't know before, and now others in a non-judgmental way. And I think that's so important, right? That in a non-judgmental way can share their perspective, and that's where the real change or opportunity for change occurs in our perspective, when someone is willing to answer us and really just talk. So I think that's so important too. So thank you. Candace, did you want to chime in and
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
So my background is I'm a speech language pathologist, and I've worked in the public school system for over 20 years now. And my passion is working with students with disabilities. And when Tanya and I were coaching partners, I shared with her that really where I see the gap and where I was wanting to move towards was working with students after they graduated from high school, that I just saw that there was a huge gap in the employment process for students with disabilities. And, just even older individuals, neurodivergent people. And so she listened to me on the call and gave me she coached me. We were great coaching partners.
Okay.
So a few weeks later, she told me, she said, Candace, I have to be honest with you. I have a friend who is in need of some resources of exactly what you're talking about. And so we were able to talk through this about what her friend was in need of. And so just so many doors have opened up since then about things that there's really a huge need. And so the more parents I talk to, so when you've worked in a place for 20 years, your students start out as 2-year-olds, and then they're 22 now. And so they're in the workforce, and some have had positive experiences and some have had negative experiences. But I do believe that one of the things I hope to do with diversity and inclusion is really help these students in the job force. And so Tanya, being an entrepreneur, me being a speech language pathologist, she had all these ideas for me on how to start my company. So a few months ago, I was going back through my notes from June, I think. She had all these words I needed to do. And through there, and Josh, I have done every one of them, and I've been able to start my own company. And so, thank you to Tanya for being the entrepreneur who gave me everything I needed that I could start my company. And so now Tanya and I have formed our own company together. So we both have S Corps that she taught me how to do. And then our S Corps formed LLCs. We also know about hex colors, Josh. If you need help with hex colors, you contact me, okay?
Awesome.
So this has just been an amazing journey. And like Tanya said, the doors that open when we've been talking to people about what we're working on, there's doors opening, and we really do believe that we're going to be able to make a difference in people's lives. And it's not, I mean, it's someone that is in the house next door to you that is needing help with this. And like she said about resources, we're going to be able to bring resources together for people. And in talking about this group, someone reached out to me about getting a SHRM recertification. And so I told them how Tanya and I had done it. And then guess what happened, Josh? They gave me a Clubhouse invite. So I'm on Clubhouse now because, so I think that's the great thing about this group is that we can help each other out. And so for us, the SHRM recertification was daunting until we figured it out.
There you go. No, that's awesome, man. So I just like to hear that type of, collaboration. And this is really a microcosm of what it is that's possible in larger society, right? I mean, we're doing this within a group, but if we can learn just to treat people like we're doing on a larger scale. And when I say we, I mean literally us as a society. We're likely doing these things right already because that's just who we are. But by the same token, people need some encouragement. People need to know that it's possible to do, whether that's starting a business or just having this type of collaboration, and to know that there are just good people out here that want to be a help, that want to be of a service. And so, as I'm thinking through that, and I guess we can just kind of close on this note. And I've really enjoyed having this conversation with you all today. So, one of the things I'm thinking about is that there may be somebody that's in this group right now, and they're listening to this conversation and they love what it is that they're hearing, but they're not sure on how to, quote unquote, get off the bench, maybe. And maybe that's not the best analogy, but because we've been talking about sports, I'm just kind of going with that. But they want to get off the bench. They want to get into the game. They feel like that there's value in their story, but they don't really know where to start. If they were speaking to you right now, or if you had the opportunity just to speak into their lives right now, what's something that the two of you that you would just share with that individual?
Candace, you want to take that one first?
Oh, sure. And Josh, your analogy of getting off the bench is better than the analogy that we use. So kudos to you for that analogy.
Okay,
what I tell them is, first of all, find you know what, you might not be able to find an accountability partner, because let's face it, we might have had other coaching partners that might not have worked out. So you might find the first accountability partner and it doesn't work out for you. But there are groups available that you can get involved in. For one, I know Danielle Nika is doing a free mentorship program this month. And so that is something that both Tanya and I got involved in, is we found mentors like that along the way. And, there's people who are just getting started that you can get into a program that's economical and then learn from them and follow the program. And then also you have a voice. And really the most important thing is figuring out who your target client is, because that's a very hard thing to narrow down. Who is your target client? And so that takes a little bit of time to figure out your avatar and who you want to market to, because there's so many options out there, right? But what is your voice? What do you want your story to be? Because everyone has a story, and what is your story and your voice, and then who is your target market?
Right.
And then find you someone that it can be a mentor to you, and there's economical ways to do that. You don't have to spend a ton of money.
I agree. And I would just, say this real quick, Tanya, that, Candace, when you spoke about the ideal avatar and so forth, I've heard a mentor just along those lines. They say, look, if you're trying to market to everybody, you're not going to market to anybody, right? So each of us, even if we think about it from a D&I perspective, if I go into a company, there may be some people that I'm going to be able to connect with, right? Just based off of what my experience is, my journey, and so forth like that. But there may be others that can connect with, either one of you based off of your individual journeys or your collective journey, right? Because we all have a story, as you just pointed out. But nevertheless, we need to find out, well, who are those individuals that we can really connect with, or that can connect with us, just as importantly, right? And benefit from hearing some of that information that we have to share. And so I think that is a part of the reflection or the reflective journey that we have to always be on. Continue to ask those questions of who can I add value for? And as we ask those questions, then I think it will become clearer in terms of what our next steps need to be so that we can get into the game. So that's my thought as I'm listening to you. Tanya, what would you say about that to that person that's looking to really take the next step?
I would say probably the first step I would tell them to take is find what solution do you have to the problem that's already out there? Because if you have a solution, if you have something that you want to do and you don't have a clientele for it and nobody's looking for it, it can be the greatest product in the world or the greatest service in the world. But it has to be a solution to somebody's problem. And if you can do that and you reach out there and look, especially if it's something that happened to you, the best way I would say, if you don't have something already, look at your own life. What got you where you are right now? And how did you do that? That alone is a service that you could teach other people how to do. But the first thing I would probably say is start. Don't just think about it. Don't put it off till next year, next week, next month. Just get started and learn from people who really know what they're talking about. Be careful who you learn from. And the other thing is you don't have to learn from everybody. Find someone that you see that they're on a pathway that you would like to follow and see their successes. And you see the journey that they've taken. That has been a key for me over the last year, is seeing someone that I admired what they were doing. I saw them build an organic following. They did it purely because they didn't know what else to do except for just reach out there and start helping people. And sometimes that's a great place to start. And by seeing that, I saw that as my role model. And then I saw them take what they were doing and turn it into a business. Well, they already had a business, but take it and start making it profitable in a new stream, a way that they hadn't gone before. And as I followed along, I met some amazing people, but I realized that they were doing it and doing it well. So I'd say, number one, find someone that you can follow, as Candace said, a great mentor. And the next thing is just get started. Don't think about it. Take the next right step. You don't have to know all of them. Suspend the need to know how. If you have that great goal out there and you set that goal, it's going to happen. If you keep going every day, take a step, and that's one step closer. You don't have to know all the steps. Just get started.
Powerful. So just get started. I think that's a great word for us to really end on. But before we close, I just wanted to circle back really quickly to the summit. So if someone, and we can certainly put this information in the notes, and we'll do so. But if someone is interested in attending the summit, when can they find out additional information about that so that they can register?
Candace, you ready? I'll let you take this
I'm ready.
One. Okay.
Okay, great. Okay, so they can just check it out on the website, boldglobaldei.com. So www.boldglobaldei.com. So awesome. They can check it out from there. And our LinkedIn and Facebook will be up soon too. So
all right, so they're going to be looking for it. And the website and the notes.
And Josh, there are so many free things that we're giving away that it's going to be worth your money.
Got it. Okay. Well, look, I'm there, so I'm looking forward to it. I'm so excited because I remember you all, talking about it. So now to see it coming into fruition, it's just it's an exciting thing, and I believe more importantly that it's going to help a lot of people. This is the time this is the time. So, thank you both for your leadership and your willingness to step out and put something together, like this. I can't wait to hear from all of the different speakers that you have. And I'm so intrigued and excited about the fact that you have 6 different countries that are going to be represented in this global summit. So kudos to both of you, and just can't wait to see this summit come online.
Josh, thank you for giving us the opportunity to be on Champions Corner. This has been a real pleasure talking to you.
Awesome. Well, certainly, and we'll have you back. So we'll go from there. Okay. So you all have a great day, and we'll talk to you soon. Okay.
Okay. Sounds good. Thank you.
All right. Thank you.